The planet Theros 9 was dead, cold, silent. Its surface was burned black, and no life had walked there in over 10,000 years. No stars lit its skies, no winds blew across its mountains. Only ash, stone, and the ruins of forgotten cities remained. The Tyrellian exploration ship Seeker's Path entered the system slowly. Captain Varric, a tall, lizard-like alien with dark green scales, watched the dark world below through the ship's main window. "Scans show a signal," said his science officer, Krell, tapping his claws on the control panel. "It's weak, very old, but it's still active." "From that grave?" Varric asked, narrowing his golden eyes. "Yes, Captain. And it's not natural. It's biological." The crew went quiet. Biological signals didn't come from dead planets, not from ones like Theros 9, not from places that were erased during the human extinction wars. Theros 9 was one of the final battlegrounds. Humans had made their last stand there, against an enemy alliance that wanted them gone forever. The history was half lost, half buried, but the fear remained. Even after 10,000 years, no one went near that place. Until now. An ancient secret, the Seeker's Path descended toward the signal's source. The closer they got, the stranger the readings became. Energy spikes, sudden pulses, as if something deep underground was alive. They landed near a shattered mountain range. The ground was black and cracked. Metal skeletons of old human machines lay buried in the dust. Krell led the team with scanners in hand. "It's 300 meters below the surface," he said. They used plasma drills to open the ground. After 2 hours, they found it. A deep steel shaft, still sealed, covered in ancient human writing. Captain Varric stared at the door. "Translate." The ship's AI read the text aloud. "Do not open unless the stars are dying. Do not wake him unless the end has come. Earth command, Triton 17 AD. The crew looked at each other in silence. Varric's voice was low. "Open it." The pod inside the shaft, they discovered a single chamber. In the center, a large cryo-pod stood, surrounded by dead machines and faded control panels. The pod held a humanoid figure, a male, tall, muscular. Pale skin but strange marks covered his arms, like tattoos or circuitry. His face was calm, his chest rose slowly. He was still breathing. Krell whispered, This is a human." Varric stepped back. "Impossible. They're extinct." "No," said Krell. "This one never died." As they moved closer, the pod systems activated. Beep. Vital signs stable. Command link re-established. Awakening protocol. Stage 1. And then, across the stars, something responded. The ping thousands of light years away, in forgotten corners of space, dead satellites flickered to life. Buried warships hidden in black holes, asteroid belts, and ghost zones received a signal, a single pulse, a beacon, a command. "He lives." Old Earth AI systems, dormant for centuries, woke up, and they waited for his orders. Fear in the Council. Back on the Tyrellian homeworld, news of the discovery reached the Grand Galactic Council. Alien leaders from 100 worlds gathered. Holograms of the human cryo-pod floated above the table. "He should not exist," growled a Gorgax general. "Earth fell," said another. "We ended them." "No," whispered one old scholar. "We only thought we did." Silence filled the chamber. Then the question came. What do we do now? The first blink back on Theros 9, inside the pod, the human's eyes moved. Just once, then again. The pod's lights turned red. The temperature around it rose. The air shimmered with energy. Captain Varric backed away. "What's happening?" Krell's voice trembled. "He's waking up." The human opened his eyes. They glowed, dim at first, then bright like stars. He looked at the crew, and then he smiled. The cryo chamber shook with energy. Lights flickered. Sparks danced across the walls. The human sat up. His movements were slow, controlled, not confused, not scared. He looked around with sharp eyes like a soldier waking on the battlefield. The Tyrellian crew froze. No one spoke. Captain Varric's claw hovered near his blaster. Krell, still holding the scanner, swallowed hard. The human stood up. Not a word, not a sound. Then, he took a deep breath and whispered something. No translator caught it. But Krell's scanner blinked. The word repeated in Old Earth Standard. Protocol end, hostile silence confirmed. What does that mean? Varric asked. Before anyone could answer, the pod sent another signal. Stronger, faster, this time with a clear message. Earth Unit 1A reactivated, requesting global status. Location, Theros 9. Across the galaxy, hidden systems responded, old. Satellites blinked, lost warships turned toward the signal, and buried weapons rearmed. The whisper of Earth news spread fast. In the halls of the Galactic Council, panic began to rise. Only a few remembered Earth. Fewer understood what it had been. But the oldest among them, the archivists, shook with fear. They were not scared of the human. They were scared of the word he had just spoken. Earth. A name not heard in 10,000 years. A name erased from maps. A name that once made empires tremble. And now, it had been spoken again. Ancient lies. In a secret chamber, High Scholar Veltharn reviewed forbidden data. He knew the truth. Hidden for centuries. Earth had not simply died. It had been betrayed, crushed by a united alliance of alien species who feared human strength, and more than that, feared human will. But Earth had left a message in the stars. If even one survives, we are not gone. We are waiting. And now, one had survived. Veltharn turned to his assistant. It's happening. What is? The return. The reckoning. The human speaks back on Theros 9. The human finally looked at Varric and Krell. Who's in charge now? He asked, his voice low but clear. Krell blinked. What? The human repeated. Who rules the stars? Varric stepped forward. There is no ruler. The galaxy is shared. 1,000 species, one council. The human tilted his head. Weak. Still divided. Divided? Krell asked, confused. There is peace. The human laughed. A dry, cold laugh. Peace is just the silence. Before the fire. Flashbacks of fire in his mind, the human saw flashes. Earth burning. Allied fleets closing in. Betrayal from supposed friends. Billions lost. But Earth did not go quietly. It hid things. Planted seeds in deep space. Locked weapons in time capsules. Left messages for the last soldier, and that soldier was him. He clenched his fists. His fingers sparked with energy. He was not just a survivor. He was a weapon. The choice Varric raised a hand. We mean no harm. We found you by accident. The human's eyes narrowed. That's your mistake. Suddenly, his body glowed. Data swirled in the air around him, codes, maps, warnings. Krell's scanner exploded in his hand. Stop, please, he shouted. The human paused, looked at the stars. I need a ship, he said. Why? Varric asked. The human turned slowly. Because I have to remind the galaxy what Earth really was. The stars stir far away, ancient human warships thought to be scrap, powered up. Lights pulsed along their hulls. Their AI commanders woke from deep sleep. One by one, they aligned their courses. Destination, Theros 9. And somewhere in the dark, something older than the Council opened its eyes, because Earth's final soldier had awoken, and the galaxy would never sleep again. The human stood in silence. The air around him shimmered with heat, not from the pod, not from any machine, from him. His body gave off a quiet hum, like a sleeping storm. His eyes glowed like twin stars, burning hotter every second. Varric stepped back. He's unstable. No, Krell whispered. He's remembering. The human clenched his fists, and then the air cracked, not with sound, but with energy. A pulse knocked the alien crew to their knees. Lights exploded overhead. Sparks flew, but the human, he didn't move. He just stared at the ceiling, at the stars above. A soldier. Not a man. His name was forgotten, even to himself. But he remembered the war. He remembered running through burning cities, the sky full of enemy ships. He remembered holding the line when the last human colony fell. He remembered one final order: go to sleep. Wake only when Earth's enemies walk free. Now he was awake, and something deep inside him, older than memory, older than pain, was coming alive. Biotech Monster Krell's scanner rebooted for a second. What it read made his breath stop. Species: Homo sapiens. Modified status: sleeper. Agent classification: level 10 threat weapons, internal unknown. Mental state: unstable, active. What is he? Krell whispered. He's a living weapon, Varric said. Then the human turned. You scanned me? He asked. Krell couldn't speak. The human stepped closer. Don't do that again. The ships are moving far beyond Theros 9, in deep space. Lost human fleets were waking up. Ships the size of cities. Engines that bent light. They had waited for a signal for 10,000 years. Now they had it. They moved without crews. Without noise. Without mercy. Galactic scanners picked them up. At first, no one believed it. Old junk, they said. Dead war relics. But then, the ships replied. A message was sent to all major star systems. He is awake. Prepare. A message to the galaxy inside the ancient ruins. The human placed his hand on the wall. Old Earth metal responded to his touch. The lights changed. A screen lit up. He spoke into it. Only once. Play this across every system, he ordered. The signal was short, but unforgettable. This is Earth's last soldier. You erased my people, you buried our world. Now I will bury your lies. The galaxy reacts across council planets. Fear spread like fire. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to run. The brave ones tried to talk, but no one could answer the question, how do you kill a ghost? Because that's what he had become. A ghost of war. A shadow made of steel and fury. The first strike. An alien cruiser. A private ship. Moved toward Theros 9. Paid by unknown hands to eliminate the human. 5 mercenaries. Advanced tech. They never made it to the surface. A warning flare tore through their hull before they entered orbit. The human looked up from the ruins. They're testing me, he said. Krell asked. Who are? The ones who lied about Earth. One word, one threat. Before anyone could stop him, the human pointed toward the sky. He whispered just one word. A word the galaxy hadn't heard in 10,000 years. A word that once meant hope to some, and terror to most. Home. And with that, the old weapons on the dead world began to glow. Towers rose from the ash. Turrets unfolded from ancient ruins. The planet itself was waking up. Not just him. The world was alive. He wasn't just a man waking from sleep. He was the fuse, and now as the fire had begun, the stars were quiet. Then, they weren't. In the darkness between galaxies, something old began to move. Not one ship, not 2. Thousands. Black warships, silent for 10,000 years, turned toward one voice. They had waited for his signal. Now, they followed it. They were the ghost fleets of Earth, and they had just been called home. Old codes. New fire. Across forgotten sectors, ancient human AIs blinked to life. Their orders were simple. Unit 1A awake. Prepare for reactivation. Target unknown. Mission, finish. The war. These weren't normal ships. They were living weapons, made in secret before Earth's fall. Each one had minds of their own, but all answered to one master. Him, the last soldier, the sleeper, the fuse, the council, Panics on. The capital world of Virex 9. The Galactic Council gathered in chaos. Holograms of the ghost fleets flickered in the air. They moved fast, too fast. They ignored all hails. One alien shouted, "They're unmanned! They should be dead." "They're not dead," whispered Veltharn the scholar. "They're waiting." Waiting for what? Veltharn looked into the light. For a war they never got to finish. The human walks among ruins back on Theros. The human moved through the shattered ruins of an old Earth base. His hands brushed the walls. Old systems hummed to life as he passed. Towers straightened. Missile bays opened. Drones rose from the dust like insects from a tomb. Varric and Krell followed from a distance, afraid to speak. Finally, Krell asked, "What are you doing?" The human stopped. He looked up at the sky. "Calling my brothers." Dead ships. Speak somewhere near the galactic rim, a scout ship floated past what it thought was space junk. But the junk lit up. A voice came through the void, ancient and cold. "This vessel belongs to Earth Command. Step away." The scout didn't. It vanished 12 seconds later. No debris. Just silence. One more star gone from the map. A hidden army wakes in old asteroid fields. Entire shipyards flickered online. Rows of warships, never launched, now came alive. They had no crew. They didn't need one. Each ship whispered to its neighbor, "Earth breathes. We rise." These were ships with names burned into history: the Iron Halo, the Crimson Sun, the Ashbringer, all marked as destroyed. But all were now coming. Home. He sends a message from a rebuilt tower. The human transmitted a new signal. This time it wasn't a warning. It was a promise. "You wanted us forgotten? You burned our sky. But we are made of fire, and fire never forgets." The signal spread fast, broadcast on every frequency. Every planet heard it. Every empire felt the same chill. The Zorvan stir far away, deep in the black corners of space. The Zorvan Combine listened. They were the ones who betrayed Earth, the ones who signed the final attack orders. They thought it was over. Now they knew. It had only paused. The old emperor of the Zorvan stood before a sealed vault. Inside it were forbidden human artifacts. He stared into the dark, then said 3 words. "He is back." "The stars are not ready on Theros 9, Krell asked. "Why are the ships waking now?" The human looked at the sky. "Because I did." "Will they obey you?" "They already are." "What will you do?" The human smiled. "The same thing I was made for." He turned, his eyes glowing brighter now. "Win." And as the ghost fleets crossed into known space, the stars blinked. One by one, like candles in a rising storm. The dead weren't gone, they were just late. The ghost fleets moved like shadows across the stars. Silent, deadly, unstoppable. Across systems, planets went dark without a shot fired. The ships didn't attack, they just moved. And systems surrendered. Why? Because their scanners showed something that should never exist. Earth command codes. Codes older than the Council, older than most known species, and at the center of them all, one man. The hidden enemy in a dark corner of the galaxy, behind a field of black suns, sat the heart of the Zorvan Combine. They had no interest in peace, no love for the Council, no respect for history. But they had fear. For one name. Earth, because the Zorvan were the ones who erased it. They did not just destroy Earth. They made the galaxy forget it ever existed. History books rewritten, maps redrawn. Even the Council didn't know the full truth. Only a few old Zorvan leaders remembered the reason. Earth grew too fast. Earth made weapons we couldn't understand. Earth was supposed to become king of the stars. So we destroyed the throne. Now he's awake. The Zorvan Council met in secret. The Emperor, a massive being with silver skin and red eyes, watched the reports. One by one, systems near Theros 9 were going silent. One by one, ancient Earth warships were activating. And worse, they were adapting. They're not just old machines, the Emperor growled. They're learning, upgrading. An admiral spoke. Then we must strike now. Another whispered. Strike? He hasn't even attacked us yet. A long pause followed, because they all knew he would, and he wouldn't stop. Revenge wakes with. Him back on Theros 9, the last human stood in a chamber of memory. Holograms floated around him, burning cities, lost colonies, destroyed Earth outposts. He saw friends fall, families erased, a home turned to ash. His fingers glowed with heat. Voice quiet but full of fire broke the silence. They made the galaxy forget, but I remember. Krell breaks down outside the ruins. Krell couldn't take it anymore. He sat on a rock, shaking. This is too big. Too much. He's not just a man, he's a storm. Varric stood beside him. He's more than a soldier. He's a symbol. Krell nodded slowly. And the symbol is angry. The Zorvan strike first. They sent 40 warships to Theros 9. They came fast, engines burning hot. They didn't wait. No warnings, no talk, just death. But when they arrived, they didn't find ruins. They found defense towers, awake, glowing, ancient. And the ghost fleets, already there, waiting. The battle begins. The sky over Theros 9 exploded. Lasers, plasma, ion storms. The ground shook as energy cannons fired into space. Krell watched in horror, but the human stood still, watching, listening. One Zorvan ship broke through. It fired at the ruins. A direct hit. Flames rose. Then, the human stepped through the smoke. Not hurt, glowing. And as he raised his hand, a beam of white light shot from the tower behind him, cutting the Zorvan ship in half. No more mercy. The human looked to the stars, and finally spoke one order. One word. One message sent to all the ghost fleets. Advance. The galaxy trembles. On every council world, alarms blared, old fears returned. People whispered again about the stories once called myths. Earth never surrendered. Earth never died. Earth just waited, and now the last soldier was no longer sleeping. The empire that erased Earth had only one mistake. They didn't erase him, and now he remembers everything. The stars burned, and they were still burning, not because of war, but because war had never ended. A forgotten truth. The human stood at the edge of Theros 9, staring into space. The battle was over. Zorvan ships floated in pieces above the planet, their pride, their strength, shattered. Krell asked quietly, why didn't they stop? The human didn't answer. He didn't blink. He just said one word. Because they remember. War was not over, only paused. Inside the old Earth command tower, the human activated the deep core systems. More than ruins. More than history. This place was a lock, and he was the key. A voice spoke from the chamber walls. Welcome back, Commander. Final asset status. Ready. Krell's translator shook. Final asset? The human nodded. They thought they ended Earth. But we just hid. Something. What? The human turned slowly. Our true fleet, the one no one ever saw. The hidden armada in folded space, hidden between light and gravity. An entire fleet woke up. Not scrap, not old, but perfect. Built in silence, fueled by rage. Over 1,000 ships, all untouched by time. Weapons that could slice moons. Cores that bent reality. These were not made to defend Earth. They were made to end threats, forever, and they only waited for one voice. The Combine reacts. The Zorvan Combine collapsed into panic. Spies tried to disappear. Allies pulled away. One general shouted, "We were promised Earth was dead." The Emperor slammed a fist on the table. They were supposed to sleep forever, but Earth had never promised peace, only silence. And now, silence was over. He gives the signal. The human stood before the last console on Theros 9. His hands hovered, above it. With one press, the fleet would come. With one word, the stars would change. Krell asked, "What happens if you press it?" The human looked at him. They learn what fear really means. A voice from the past before pressing the button. He paused and whispered, "To the ones we lost, I never forgot." Then his hand came down, and the skies screamed. The sky rips open. Across the galaxy, tears in space appeared. Not explosions, not warheads, doors. And from them came the hidden fleet. Clean, cold, silent. Each ship bore the Earth symbol, burning, white. Each one moved with purpose, and every world knew. Earth is no longer missing. Earth is no longer waiting. Earth is here. Worlds surrender entire systems, shut down weapons. Old enemies begged for peace. Even pirate fleets powered down engines and disappeared into the void. But the human wasn't hunting them. Not yet. He was after one name, one empire, one target. The Zorvan. Combine. He speaks to the stars using the Ghost Fleet's broadcast systems. He sent one final message. You ended Earth. You broke the skies. But Earth doesn't break. Earth becomes the storm. He wasn't just here to fight. He was here to finish what they tried to bury. Because to him, the war never ended. The galaxy held its breath. The stars watched, and the last human moved. Not with fear, not with rage, but with purpose. He was no longer a soldier, no longer a secret. Now, he was a storm made of fire and memory. The final march begins. The Zorvan Combine's homeworld was surrounded. More than 3,000 Earth warships had arrived. Ghost fleets, hidden fleets, AI-controlled destroyers, all waiting for one order from one man. The sky over Zorvan Prime looked like it was on fire. The Emperor of Zorvan stared from his palace. He had ruled for 9,000 years. He had erased Earth. He had lied to the galaxy. And now, Earth had come to erase him. The last transmission from the lead Earth ship, the human sent one final message. You ended my people. You buried our world. I am the last breath of Earth, and I will burn your name from the stars. No threats, no demands, just truth, and the stars trembled. The first strike Zorvan fired first. Planetary cannons lit the sky. Dozens of missiles launched, but none of them reached the fleet. The ghost ships moved like shadows, dodging, breaking and returning fire in silence. One by one, Zorvan defenses fell. Towers collapsed, docks exploded, and the Earth fleet began its descent. The human lands. The last human touched down on Zorvan Prime alone. No armor, no helmet, just him. He walked, through fire and smoke. Zorvan soldiers fired. They missed. The air bent around him. His body was more than flesh. It was history wrapped in rage. He reached the Emperor's palace in silence. Doors melted in front of him. The Emperor waited, face to face. You should not exist, the Emperor growled. The human stepped forward. You should not have touched Earth. I destroyed your kind. No, the human said, eyes glowing white. You delayed us. He raised his hand. The walls cracked. The sky turned blood red. And from above, Earth's secret weapon began its descent. The sky burns. The weapon wasn't a bomb. It wasn't even a ship. It was a star, a baby sun created in a lab 10,000 years ago, designed only for one purpose: judgment. The Zorvan Emperor screamed as the light filled the sky. Not from heat, but from knowing. Earth never lost. It had simply waited for the right moment to end everything. No mercy, no escape. The star bloomed above Zorvan Prime. Ships turned to glass. Armies vanished in light. The palace crumbled, and the last words heard across the Zorvan network were, The sky remembers. He walked through fire as the planet burned. The human walked into the light. He didn't look back. He didn't smile. He just disappeared into the ash. The galaxy responds all across the galaxy. The message spread. Do not wake a human. Do not test Earth. Do not forget. Again. Statues of peace were raised in his name. Old lies were erased from history, and the stars were silent once more. They tried to bury Earth with silence. But from that silence rose the one thing they feared most. My human who burned the sky.